says accept. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Baller-to-Bogey. Again, it is myself, Joshua Brown, here with you on this wet, dreary Thursday winter season here in North Carolina. But you know what? I won't complain because apparently Kentucky has an inch and a half of ice, and then in the Northeast they got a foot of snow. So I'll take this weather. Tonight with me is Sean, who is a good friend. I will say that the Instagram world and Facebook world introduces you to a lot of people, and Sean is one of them. So Sean, thank you for joining me tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Good to meet you electronically finally.
Not a problem. So tonight's topic is something that's a little bit different. I know most of my interviews and discussions are about athletes or basketball players that have transitioned to the game of golf, but over the past month and just a little over a month ago, I lost my own father to COVID-19, and it just got me thinking back to all the good times and about sports and about parenting, because I have two young ones myself, and they're both kind of getting into sports. My son loves a pickleball paddle. He loves a basketball. He loves to hit a ball off a tee. He loves to kick a soccer ball. And in it, today's topic is kind of like trophy kids, but then also being a parent without being overly aggressive. And the reason I chose Sean is because Sean has a son. His name is Caleb, and Caleb is a really good golfer at a very, very young age. And I'll let Sean talk a little bit about that. And Sean, the first question I'll say is, like, as a parent, who introduced you to the game of golf?
Yeah, so my introduction to golf was through my dad. Wasn't something I played a bunch as a kid. I was typical ball sport kid, baseball, football, basketball as a kid. But when I was entering my teen years, my dad had kind of a full career change and decided to chase this dream of becoming a PGA professional. And so he quit the retail stuff he'd been doing and went off and became a PGA professional. And then I would spend my summers, once he became a PGA pro, working with him at the golf course. So I would play a lot of golf each summer, from June to August, and then wouldn't touch the golf clubs again the rest of the year. But that was my introduction there as an early teen, to being around the game. And I mean, I worked around it more than I played it. Um, so yeah, he got me into it, but it was certainly a later in life, not until my 30s situation, until I kind of really started playing it myself.
Okay. So as far as, your dad introducing you to the game, and are there any like memories that you have that stick out to where you just kind of remember like practice sessions, or was it your dad just kind of gave you clubs and was like, here's some balls, just, you know, hit at the range? Is there any like moments or particular times that stick out, with your dad early on that you remember?
Yeah, so dad was absolutely here's clubs, go beat balls, go figure it out. And I mean, he and I had that situation, that opportunity to where, when we're kind of working at the golf course, I mean, I was obviously just a kid. I was kind of around, probably wasn't working as much as I feel like I was in my mind, but so he'd send me out to go pick balls on the range, and I'd take a pitching wedge and go out to the edges of the range and hit balls out of the woods back onto the range so we could pick them up with the range cart and stuff for hours. And so he absolutely had me figuring out on my own out of the dirt. Um, and wasn't pushing me to go learn this or that or do this or that. Um, my practice stuff, me learning it was all my own. And then we'd go play in the afternoons and things. Um, and so he certainly never tried to hammer golf down my throat by any means. Just kind of let me go find it.
Okay. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, that your son Caleb, who is a golfer, do you mind sharing kind of a little bit about, how old Caleb is and how you, or at what age did you introduce Caleb to golf? Because just to put it out there, you guys, Caleb isn't a golfer as Sean was describing, like I'm just the one at the range. Caleb's playing some pretty nice courses and playing in tournaments.
Yeah, so Caleb's just turned 9. He he started with the introduction of the little plastic clubs and the little plastic ball, that we've all seen. I'd gone through my phone, and the first picture I can find of him at the driving range, he was 14 months old. And first time I took him out on Knights Play, the par 3 course, to play 9 holes of golf, he was 4.5. And it was just something we could do together and both have fun together. And then the summer of him being 7 rolled around, and we decided to give tournament golf a try. And a year and a half later, he's playing in the U.S. Kids Golf World Championships down in Pinehurst. And I mean, it still blows my mind to think about that he has played in a world championship already, and he's 9, right? I'm never going to play in a world championship of anything.
Yeah,
And
I can make it in cornhole. So yeah,
right. And so he's done it as a 9-year-old. I've seen him break par at Tobacco Road. The things that he and those kids can do at that age with golf clubs in their hands is extraordinary. But it's been quite a journey to watch him go from that little dude with the smallest club we could find, cross-handed grip, kind of hitting it like a hockey stick. And then there when he was about 4.5, and watching him figure out that grip and realizing he had a natural little soft high draw ball flight, and being jealous and just kind of following him around from then has been a lot of fun.
Okay. So far with Caleb's career, is it really just kind of been you giving him pointers or tips, or have you reached a point where it's like he needs to work with a coach or some type of trainer?
He started lessons this past year. He's done a series of lessons with Donna Lerner over at the Donna Lerner Golf Academy. She teaches out of Briar Creek Country Club here in Raleigh. Yeah, I mean, we got to a point where I think we both realized, me and Caleb, that there was probably a better opportunity for him to receive and take and apply instruction better from somebody else than me, right? And I mean, as a parent, that's a big part of it, right? I mean, you know how kids are. Like, stranger can tell your kid something and they're going to listen and do it. You tell them, they may hem and haw and I know better than that kind of thing. So yeah, this is the first. We finally kind of went over to the coaching thing, and that's been great.
So just kind of looking back on that, was there like a particular moment where maybe you were getting frustrated with Caleb, or Caleb was getting frustrated with you, or you just felt like, you know what, if he's really enjoying this, it's going to take somebody with a lot more knowledge to the game than myself to be able to pour into my son?
I think we definitely both found ourselves a little bit in that aggravated moment with each other. He is not a go hit 1,000 balls at the range a day kind of kid. He enjoys practicing golf. He especially enjoys the short game part of it, but he doesn't want to go beat balls for hours, and he doesn't want to work on technique for hours and stuff. And so, I would take him to go practice, and obviously taking the time, the money, the effort to go do that. And if he was just messing around, that would frustrate me. And if I tried to get him to maybe try some things and he wasn't feeling it, it's, oh no, that's not what's going on with my swing, or no, what you're saying, that's not the best idea. So that was when we both kind of realized, hearing it from another source and hearing it from a source with a lot more pedigree than just dad who likes to play golf, hearing it from an actual golf coach. Um, and then, I mean, it's obviously so nice with Donna because she's coaching him and she's coaching me too while we're there, right? That's part of it. She's, okay, Caleb, this is what we're going to work on. Dad, this is how you need to help Caleb work on this when we go to practice. And that's helped both of us because I can, okay, Caleb, remember this is what Donna wanted us to work on last time, and we're going to do this and do that. Um, so yeah, I mean, we definitely both met in the middle with the aggravation over each other when deciding to, we should probably go talk to Don and do this with some real coaching.
Cool. So you mentioned that Caleb has played in a number of big tournaments, and I can just think back to, I will say I was definitely I definitely wasn't a prodigy, but I was big time into basketball.
Mm-hmm.
At the time growing up, once I hit the age 12, I started playing for the North Carolina Gators AAU basketball team. We were sponsored by Reebok. We wore all Iverson shoes. Um, Talk about the travel suits, the duffel bags, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, the really nice jerseys, staying in different hotel rooms that's
Right.
two to a bed. It's not 4 or 5 or 8 kids piled up into a bedroom, and it really became what we would call big time basketball.
Sure.
And I really, really remember that there were parents at some of those tournaments that were really, really hard on their kids because they were sitting there thinking like, I, we paid for a trip to travel all the way down here to Florida for AAU Nationals. You're going to make sure that I get a return on this investment. You're going to be seen by all these college coaches and scouts and things like that. So me just remembering, seeing some of those type of parents in the stands, when you've been to some of the tournaments that, Caleb has participated in, have there ever, kind of been parents there that you've kind of been like, wow, they're over the top. Remember, these are 9, 10, 11-year olds. Like, have you ever had your experience with seeing any of those type of parents?
Oh yeah, big time. Um, you know, golf it's obviously in its own place from a socioeconomic starting point for a lot of these kids, right? Um, and the the time and money and lifestyle commitment that I see some of these families make for a 8-year-old kid playing golf it's crazy. And I mean, I love driving them to Pinehurst or even down to Fayetteville or whatever to play in these local tournaments. Cool. It costs us most of a Saturday. Um, and we've done a regional event up in Williamsburg. But that was great because we knock out his round on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and we still have all the rest of the day to go hang out and be a family and do all that. Um, but I mean, there are kids that are playing 45 tournaments a year, and 52 weeks a year. It's an amazing amount of time and energy and money and everything dedicated to the kid playing golf. Um, and then yeah, you have the other just crazy coaching end of it, or caddy end of it, because at least with the age that Caleb's at right now, the kids also have to be caddied by a parent or guardian. And for 95 out of 100 kids, that's dad. And you know not every tournament, but at least every other one. I mean, somebody in our group's crying, and there's parent, dad and kid fighting and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, that stuff is constant, and it's crazy because when they're doing their golf thing, they look like little tiny adults, and they're going around acting like little tiny adult golfers, and from a distance you almost can't tell that they're 8, 9 years old. I mean, they look like they could be 15, 25 or whatever, just miniature. But but then they hit a bad shot or miss a putt, and they start crying, and dad starts yelling, and yeah, all that stuff. It brings it home for you real quick that, man, these are just kids out here playing golf. When you see that might be a little bit much going down.
Yeah. So knowing that golf is definitely a mental sport, and the psychology of golf is really, really important. What advice do you give to Caleb, on the bag, if he pops a shot, or he doesn't miss a or he misses a putt, or just any of the errors that we can make in the game? Like what do you say as a parent and also as a supporter, to try to build him back up to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I try as much as I can when I'm out there as caddy to just play cheerleader, supporter, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I've I've had my times, my not mistakes, but my times where I've tried to be coach and, hey, let's try this, let's try that too. But I mean, as you know, like playing on the course, especially being in a tournament, that's not the place to try to work on something or find something. So it's trying to just be the cheerleader of, hey, always the next shot, another opportunity for a good shot. Um, or like, I mean, you try not to get to that. Well, today's just not our day, but it's more just trying to keep them in a chin up, good attitude. We're out here doing something that's
All right. So with knowing that, you have to try to teach him how to keep composure and stay focused, do you feel like that not only are you teaching him um, lessons, regarding to sports, but also life lessons as well?
oh, big time. I mean, and we have those exact conversations like, yeah, man, sometimes things are going to suck, and they're, not always going to get the breaks you deserve, right? And I know we had one of our last tournaments. It's funny, he and the kid that he was kind of competing against, we kind of thought to win that day. Every good break went for that kid, and every bad break went for Caleb. I mean, it was funny to watch that happen. And he was getting pretty frustrated. It hit the same spot, and the ball bounced left onto the green for that kid and right off the green for Caleb. Say, man, that's just, the ball's going to bounce the way the ball's going to bounce, and it's up to you to decide. You're going to go for the, oh, woe is me, and uh, or just try to stay positive and try to keep moving. And it's, I can watch those rounds where he stays positive and watch his scores drop, and he may not even know why. And then those rounds where kind of get the couple bad breaks, and down goes the attitude, and the head hangs a little bit, and you watch the scores go with it, right? And yeah, I feel like if I'm not always going to be able to talk him out of those situations there on the course. uh, I mean, tournament golf's hard, man. I played like 2 tournament rounds in my life, watching these kids go through. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done a full out real keeper score, put every putt in the hole kind of tournament golf. Um, where they're calling your name on the first tee, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it is for real. So when you hit bad shots, there's no place to hide, like when we're out doing recreational golf. So, I can't always talk him back into that good place, but yeah, I hope that maybe, if you have a bad one, he takes it away for the next one. And sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, but he's 9. So, you hope the collective experience will be positive in the end.
So are there other sports that Caleb plays, or is it really just mainly golf?
He's other sports. He started with soccer, done t-ball, basketball, flag football is his sport of choice right now. So that'll kick off again in April. That'll take us up through kind of mid-June, and then we'll dive back into golf kind of through the summer. Um, he's 100% more. Uh, he enjoys team sports more than he enjoys golf. Um, he's great at golf, and I'm glad he wants to get out there and do it and use that talent. Um, but I mean, if he came to me at the end of flag football season and said, I want to do another season of flag football, or I want to do soccer or something else, fine. Um, but yeah, we've tried to expose him to as much as he wants. And I mean, kind of like you were talking about before we started with your kids. I mean, our garage we've got basketball goal in the driveway. We've got soccer balls, footballs, hockey stuff, golf stuff, lacrosse stuff. You name it. Anything to kind of keep them moving, hand-eye foot coordination, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm looking forward to him getting back into flag football, because COVID took a whole year away from him. He was really enjoying it when it got done right before COVID kicked in. So I think he and I are both ready for him to get back to some team sports a little bit.
Okay. So when you travel to these different tournaments, is it more of just a you and Caleb thing, or is it kind of like a family affair? Hey, we're getting a room, we're going to stay here for however many nights. And I know, like you said, some of the tournaments down in the Pinehurst area, so that's just a hop in the car, drive, and then drive right back. But is it more just the two of you, or is it more of a family function?
Mom goes basically every time. It's just the three of us. We just have just Caleb. Um, Mom's actually caddied before. So yeah, it's a family affair. Um, I'm usually on the bag, and Mom's kind of scorekeeping off on the sidelines. But we all go. The local stuff, we never have to stay anywhere. Most of the tournaments are within an hour. So we can just, whatever, a Saturday or Sunday, knock out the hour drive and go down there and warm up and play and drive back. The So we've done one regional event there in Williamsburg. So that was a little bit more of a weekend, right? Drive up and do the hotel and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Is there any advice you would give to parents in general, like at such an early age? And there can, I want to say there's a stigma, but there's definitely that part of us as human beings. And I'll say, definitely and I can only speak for myself, of saying I had a pretty, successful basketball career. It was able to take me to college. It was able to pay for basically majority of my schooling. And it's almost like it's only right that my son follows in my footsteps, and that he's end up, better than myself, with my endpoint. And then therefore there almost seems like a personal charge that I have to like pour that knowledge of sports in the game. Is there any advice that you would give to parents like myself that kind of fall into that same mindset?
Yeah, I mean, and certainly golf has its own little idiosyncratic things to deal with on that front, but making sure, especially at this young age, that you remember they're a kid, especially for the practice part. Um, that's the part I try my hardest at, to not be like some of the other parents that I see, where, I mean, I see some of these kids where every single swing and every single contact gets scrutinized, right? Whack, hit a shot. No, you did this. Whack, hit a shot. No, you did that. Whack, hit a shot. Oh, you looked up. Whack, hit a shot. Oh, your setup wasn't right. I couldn't imagine trying to build through a skill set of anything with somebody yelling at me on every single one. Like, think about, you're out in the driveway trying to work on a jump shot, right? Nobody's yelling at you on every single one. But man, parents will do that in golf because you can, because it's slow, it's non-reactionary, right? Um, so trying to walk that line with like letting them be a kid and letting them go figure it out is I think the best thing the parents can do on that end, because I just hate watching those kids that are out there not getting to just go dump a bucket of balls over in the deep rough and just like try to hit crazy flop shots for an hour. Like, they're enjoying it and they're learning on accident, right? But they're doing the cattle prod thing and beating them over every shot and every result. And uh, man, I don't see how that's gonna be productive in the end. Um, but again, it's easy to do that with golf, especially when we play, right? And that's always a tough thing for me because I'm passionate about it, because I play a lot. It's my hobby. It's the thing that I love to do now. Um, but if we go out and throw the football out in the yard or shoot the basketball, I don't feel like I have to help as much on that, because it's not my passion too, right? It can be just a little more flowy and reactionary. Um, but so just trying as much as I can to just let him go, let him figure it out on his own, have fun doing it, and helping him when things either go awry or kind of when he's coming to me wanting help or asking for help. Um, that would definitely be the thing that I'd recommend that people try to do as much as they can.
Okay, so now for, I guess you can say, the little bit more the self-reflection time. Currently, if you and Caleb were to play head to head, could Caleb give you a run for your money?
100%. We are, over the last year and a half, when he's kind of gotten into the tournament golf thing and we've been playing, we're about 50-50. So when I put him at his tees and me at mine and we play straight up, yeah, we're about 50-50. And that's in match play. I typically don't want anything to do with him from a stroke play standpoint. I mean, I'm a, I think what, oh yeah, I'm like a 2.5 handicap right now. Um, I mean, he generally plays 9 holes just because that's what the 9-year-old kids play. But I mean, us doing recreation stuff, him shooting par to 3 over is commonplace. And yeah, I can handle that from a match play standpoint, but yeah, I don't want any of that from a stroke play.
Is there any part of that that has made you, I don't even know the words to say, but you're just kind of like, dang, he's 9 years old and he's like, if I miss this putt, then he wins his hole. Like, is there any point of view that runs into that, like that mindset when you guys are on the course playing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, constantly, especially for me. I mean, he's kind of he's I mean, he's a kid, right? So he's messing around with other stuff and kind of paying attention, but also because we're playing the way we're playing, I always have to tee off first, regardless of how that last hole went, right? It's never the thing where it's his tee box. So I got to tee off first. And I know that, man, if I block one into the woods, I'm done on this hole. Right? Like I got to be perfect, right? Because he's not losing a ball. He's keeping everything in front of him. So yeah, I mean, it is always on my mind that I got to be perfect just to hang with them. Um, and I've played some really good golf against him because of that, because I am like hammer focused, just trying to beat him. Um, I mean, which has been one of the things I loved about it, right? Like, I go out there and I try as hard as I can against my 9-year-old son to beat him. And we're 50-50. Like, there's nothing else we can do and try as hard as we can against our kids and actually have a competition. We got in the driveway and play basketball. I can't try as hard as I can against them. But man, yeah, we can go out there on the golf course. I give it all I got and still get my butt whooped half the time.
Okay. All right. So I'm not there yet, but I can remember the first time that I beat my dad. I was probably, I think it was either 12 or 13. And
Right.
my dad was about between the height of 6'2", 6'3". He was not a 3-point shooter, and I'm relating it to basketball. He's not a 3-point shooter, but a mid-range, 15 to 18 feet. He was just all day. And
Right.
me and my brother and my cousins, we were all just talking about it recently. If my dad got the first shot in a game of 21, whoever made the first basket, they got the call. If it was just made three and then
Right.
keep playing, or if it was all day, my dad would choose all day, and he would literally hit 19 straight free throws. And,
Right. Just end it. Yeah.
yeah, and just end it. And like I said, by the time I was in the 6th grade, I was already 6 foot, and I still had some baby weight to me, but I could move. I wasn't dunking at that age, but I could still move. And I remember, I was able to beat my dad 1-on-1, and it was kind of like an eye opener. But then I started to think back to that was 6th grade, but then by the time I was in the 8th grade, I was already 6'2", and again, I wasn't skin and bones, and so I was able to like bang and bump with my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah, and some people in the city or the town, they were like, Clyde, he ain't that little one no more. They used to just shove around. And he's like, nah, he's not. Um, and it was definitely like one of those self-reflecting moments that we just think about now as a kid. And I never spoke to him about it, as an adult, from his eyes. But those are always memories that we definitely have. And one of the things that my dad definitely had, and you spoke to it about having composure and life lessons, is my dad never got flustered very easily. Like he
Mhm.
always kind of kept a single tone, and that was really much his personality. But then when it came to after games, he would definitely critique me a lot. He would tell me about my form on my free throw, if my elbow wasn't in, if it didn't look like I was spinning the ball off my fingertips, if I was playing terrible defense. And I'll definitely say that I've had to, as not only a now as an administrator, but when I was a coach, I had to be mindful of when I was critiquing my players and telling them, like, at some point, just like you were giving a comparison of when Caleb is struggling, you just tell him, like, keep working at it. It's okay. It's okay. And some of my players, like, they couldn't throw the ball in the ocean if we were standing at the beach, and I'm sitting there like trying to find some words of encouragement for them. Gotta
Right.
play through it, got to play through it, got to work on it. So definitely those things. And I'm glad to hear, the way that you're handling it, and the way that you reflect on it, and the relationship that, you two were building. I I could only dream that, my son, and again, he has the same little plastic golf clubs that you were talking about. He actually,
Yeah. Sure.
and actually he moved up to, he has a golf club that has a plastic club face, but it has a metal shaft, and then it has a plastic handle, and it has an adjust. So the shaft is adjustable. so that
Yeah, right.
grows, we can adjust it to them. And, I just sit there and think back now, or think about times ahead of if he still is interested in playing golf. Again, he's only 2 years old, but, that'll be great times that we can just leave and go to the course or go on trips. And, my wife is like, who's going to watch the kids? And I'm like, don't worry. I'm like, come on, you come with me. And
Sure, sure.
it's not even my son, my daughter, she is 6. She's about to turn 7 in less than a month. And I don't know if you looked on my Instagram page, but I actually took her out and we played a par 3 course.
Yeah, in the Southport, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
in
yeah, right.
Southport, and she loved it. So, a part of me is hoping that she's going to want to also kind of continue learning the game of golf, so it can be something that we do together. I would have to personally say that if she is, that just like you got a swing coach for Caleb, she's gonna have to have one because I'm terrible. Like, and basketball is my thing. I can teach them the ins and outs. I got that
Right.
on pat. But as far as swing concepts, I can teach her putting. I'm decent at putting, but as far as swinging a driver or fairway wood or iron, yeah, it's definitely, we're gonna have to go sign you up for some lessons.
Man, like, look, I got dead lucky with Caleb on that. That's his golfing ability is uh he was born with it. Like I said, he started out with a split cross-handed grip and hockey style and all this. And when he
Eddie
finally got big
Gilmore.
enough, yeah, right. And when he got big enough to hold the club and started being able to make actual contact, like I said, I realized that he hit this kind of natural little tight draw. And I'm just like, well, the whole rest of us in the world fight a slice our entire lives, right? And then
Like,
he just starts out hitting this little natural draw. I said, well, I just got to not mess that up, right? Just let him just keep repeating that. I don't need to go in there and mess with that. Um, so I think, like I told you on Instagram, I know enough about the swing to be dangerous, uh, but uh, no, I got lucky with him. There was no like teaching him. I had to get him hitting balls and then get out of his way. And then I had to teach him the etiquette stuff about golf. And I mean, and again, I know that's tough with a kid, keeping them moving and keeping them doing all the golf stuff. But the swing part, man, that was just sit back and be jealous for the most part.
a blessing.
Yeah, right, right, right. That's what I tell them all the time. Like, most people are not born with that, man. Like, I know it just feels natural to you. I'll take pictures in slow mo of his swing and everything. And it's like, man, those are moves and positions I'll never have. So I hope he enjoys it.
So, Sean, before we get off here, do you want to share Caleb's Instagram handle? That way, if anybody is ever interested in seeing, the tournaments that he goes to, they can follow him that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me make sure I get it right here. Um, yeah, so it's Caleb Dennis Golf. Uh, just all lowercase, no periods or anything, just Caleb Dennis Golf. And yeah, you can check him out. The Instagram thing has been an amazingly fun way for all those kids to connect. Like, I had no idea when we started this that like every freaking junior golfer kid has an Instagram page, but like they all do. So they all follow each other. And I mean, it helps them kind of motivate each other to practice and try different stuff. And it's so great watching them build up to a tournament. Oh, I'm getting ready for this tournament. Oh, so am I. And then we'll see each other at the tournaments and everything. So that's been cool to see from his end. I mean, I never thought I'd purposely be sticking my kid on social media, and he was at the time 7 years old, but it's worked out to be a pretty cool thing.
Okay, cool. Well, Sean, thank you for taking the time to talk to us tonight about, parenting and sports, and definitely, being an involved parent with sports. I really appreciate that. I know it's something that's completely different And again, folks, we will continue to try to bring you as many different perspectives as possible. And for those of you that are stuck inside in the wet weather like me, work on your grip, work on your follow through. I was doing it tonight. And again, let's just keep swinging away.